Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the ABM Way. Today I have with me Mark, the co-founder of TAC, who's been talking a lot about people-focused marketing, go-to-market, people-focused go-to-market. Welcome to the show, Mark. How are you today?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you doing?
Hey, pretty good, Mark. Welcome. So firstly, I believe I haven't seen this term coined much on online. People first go to market. I believe you kind of coined the term people first go to market. So can you tell us a story behind this? Anything? Why did you find so much crucial to coin that term and bring it down?
Yeah. How long do you want the story to be? Like a minute or like 5 minutes?
Yes, we've got time.
Yeah, I'll do a little bit longer version. So I started my career in
It's
B2B
all
go to.
yours. It's all yours, Mark. Go ahead.
No, yeah, no. I started my career in B2B go to market back in 2008, right as the Great Recession was taking hold. I graduated college, actually dropped out of grad school. That's a whole other story. But was able to find a job at a very small kind of bootstrap startup in January 2008. And about 12 months later, maybe under 12 months, probably 6 to 12 months later, of joining that company, I was asked to figure out how to kind of generate more leads. And one thing led to another. And like most of us do or did at the time, I went to Google, typed in how to generate more leads, and guess what came up? HubSpot. Right? HubSpot,
Absolutely.
inbound marketing. So
Yes.
to fast forward to today, people first go to market is, in my opinion, somewhat of an evolution of inbound marketing. Inbound marketing was built for the most part, I should say, on this foundation of content and content marketing. I kind of call it like content-led growth now. It's one of the 7 things that make up people first go to market. And content is very people first if done well, right? I mean, content is created by people at the end of the day. And content, really good content, is based on the idea of stories. And storytelling is one of the foundational pillars of people first go to market. From there, inbound marketing, I was at HubSpot for 9 years. I guess the big thing that I was able to achieve with the help of many others was building HubSpot Academy. And through that process of building HubSpot Academy and growing it so globally, it became apparent that great marketing, great go-to-market is not just about content. It's about how to build and grow relationships with people for different purposes. Could be for events, could be for your products, could be for community, could be for the members within your owned community, could be with customers. But these relationships are super important. And over time, these relationships can turn into partnerships. And those are the 2 other fundamental kind of pillars of people first go to market. You got storytelling, you got relationships, you got partnerships. And together, those 3 things, along with this model that we built, have kind of come to be in a way that helps a business now, especially a B2B business, but also a B2C business, understand how to grow in a more effective and efficient way that is tailored to how people buy things. Because over the last 20 years, the way in which we buy things have changed dramatically, mostly driven through the rise of the internet, and then things that have been built on top of the internet, and those protocols. But there's still changes happening, right? Like today, there's still a ton of change happening with how we buy things because of the advancement of, digital technology at the end of the day.
I would say even it keeps evolving every 2 years, not even a decade. Like what worked 2 years back is not working anymore. A lot of things
It's
keep
true.
changing.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, in a world of marketing, especially B2B marketing, where the marketing world prioritizes technology and data, it's always a priority for technology data. So how did you think it was a revolutionary for you to bring in people-focused strategy into this and then putting it into the minds of people? Say, I mean, I know you're not against data or technology, but when the whole world is prioritizing the data and technology, and you come in and say, okay, let's do a people-focused strategy, I'm sure you would have faced a lot of obstacles. So, how do you counter the traditional marketing versus this people-focused strategy?
I mean, technology and data, yeah, 100% important. I'm very big on those things. I mean, at the end of the day, though, like, you don't sell technology a product. You don't sell data a product. You sell people a product, right? People buy something mostly because of just emotion, and how much trust was developed and established in the relationship. That's why they buy something. So if you're in the business of selling something, you better darn for sure be focused on people and understand how people are thinking about their problems, thinking about how they might want to solve those problems, thinking about the things that are tangential to those problems, really focused on how do you build a relationship. Data can help you with that, right? Because data can help you focus, as you know, from an account-based marketing standpoint, focus on the right people, find the right people, help serve up better content, events, products, etc. to those people. Data can teach you a lot. Data can give you insights. Data can do a lot for people at the end of the day. Data can, especially with AI now, data can make relationship building maybe a little bit easier, for sure. Technology, you don't want to be a slave to technology, though. People don't care how something works. What they care about is the outcome. And that's what's happened to us marketers and salespeople in the last 10 years, especially. We have introduced so much technology and data into our day in the life of a marketer as a salesperson. It has pulled us away from getting close to the thing that matters the most, which is people and our customers.
Absolutely, yes. It's actually end of the day, it's going to be one human on this side and another human on that side. But people actually overlook it as one technology talking to another technology. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. I mean, technology can create a lot of bad unintended consequences to some degree,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I just want to pick up my next question from the word relationship you just mentioned. So building genuine relationship with the decision makers. So what do you suggest without talking about my product? Like, your people first strategy is about building relationships. So how do I tell my listeners? How do I let them build a genuine relationship with the key decision makers without talking about the product?
Tell a story.
Is that all right? You got it.
Tell a story.
Okay.
I mean, right? Like, have a point of view, have an opinion, have a story that you can use to bring that opinion, point of view to life, and maybe validate it a bit. You need something that is going to be the spark that builds the community around your business. At the end of the day, every business has a community if they get to a certain point. You can call it a community, you can call it an ecosystem, you can call it a network. There is a visible and invisible thing that surrounds a business. Once it gets to some small sort of scale, it doesn't have to be big, it can be very small, that starts to take hold. And it's so much easier to do this now through digital means, right? Like in the past, way back when, 30, 40 years ago, a lot of that had to be done just through a lot of in-person type stuff. But now digital, it's you can build again, a network of people around a brand or a business within weeks, days, if you really know what you're doing. So, but that doesn't get going unless there's something that jumpstarts it, is that spark. So that's the first thing you need to do. And if you don't have a good story, good point of view, you don't understand why you exist, why that matters to other people, the problems you help solve. If you don't really get that, start talking about it. But if you definitely don't have that kind of written down or have that kind of understanding of who you are and why you exist as a business, but also as a founder, as a CEO, how could you then tell your team and inspire your team to go off and build something in service of something else, right? I mean, yeah, if you want to just sell a simple commodity-based product, sure, you don't really need a big team to do that anymore, though. You really don't. I mean, you could do that very easily, caveats, of course, with a very small team, especially now with all the AI stuff going on. So I think if you really want to, build a business that is people first, that has the likelihood of sticking around and growing for a long time, you need a foundation, and that's where the storytelling and the point of view, which leads to education, leads to you learning and teaching with other people, starts to play in.
Absolutely, absolutely. I get it. I get it. So basically, it's a point of view, and you stick to it. Uh, no matter what, and you genuinely become a thought leader. Like, once
It can
you,
evolve. Well, it's more than just a thought leader. I mean, you don't have to become a thought leader necessarily. You can be like my fishmonger down the road who sells fish. He's a
uh,
local small business. His point of view is local, 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 like, and fresh, fresh, fresh. Like, knows, or I guess he has 3 points of view: local, fresh, and if it's not local and fresh, like, he knows where that fish is coming from.
yeah,
Versus you
he
go to like
knows.
a different place, right? Like, that other fishmonger might don't even care about that. They're like, yeah, I don't know, yeah, I'm just selling you fish. It's
uh,
fine, enjoy it. It is what it
yes,
is.
yes, you're right. The local, he knows what he's selling. He knows where it comes from, and he knows what it is. So that's correct. So when we go beyond the superficial conversations with the buyers or the prospects, right? Normally, people first go to market. I would like to want to, at some point of time, I would like to understand the fears or the frustrations or challenges my target audience are facing. Uh, is there something that you suggest, we can, like you want to do to get to know the challenges or fears of your target audience? There's something you suggest people to do?
Oh, you have to. That's why people buy something, right? They have a challenge, they have a problem. You have to.
Yes. So is that something that uh, is there some way to capture that? Do you normally go with interviews or surveys, or how do you try to understand the fears or challenges? I'm just trying to see how can people understand the target audience challenges and fears.
What kind of business are you describing? I think that's a question that is really rooted in it depends.
Like say, for example, I'm selling a HR product, HR product, and a lot of people sell HR products. There's too many people around with HR products, and with people first go to market, and I go behind people, and then is there any way I can understand my customers, my prospects, fears and challenges? Is there any way I can fast track to understand their challenges and fears? Is what I'm trying to ask.
Listen and talk to them as soon as possible. So first, though, come up with your own point of view around that space. So, like, why do you feel like there needs to be a change made so that HR, I'm assuming it's HR leaders you're selling this to, chief human resource officers, chief people officers, have this, or need to change? Why do they need to change? So what are the problems and challenges facing them from changing, or standing in the way of their goals? It's change or goals. It's sometimes both, but it's either change or goals. And if they change, they'll get better outcomes. If they reach their goals, of course they get better outcomes. So uh, this is where community-led growth, like going out and listening and being super curious and then talking to people. Talk to as many people one-to-one as you can, as often as you can. I know founders that are talking to 15 to 20 customers a week. And that should be very common early on. As you grow and maybe once you get to like 20, 30 million, that might go down a bit, but you need to be as close as you can to the customer. Like, people are at the center of every experience and interaction.
Yeah.
And the way you learn about them is just through conversation. So find the places, online that have your ideal audience for your product, and just pay attention, engage, listen, and use that as a feedback loop for your own story and for your own product marketing, if you will, and what you're building.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So that's where I'm able to understand when we try to build relationships, it takes time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes time. Eh, Nothing can be accomplished by just few emails or few messages back and forth. So these things take time, right, to build a relationship. So when I'm trying to scale or when companies trying to scale, right, so uh, the approach with the larger target audiences in people first go to market, is there something, how do you normally want to address that to scaling, or you want to have it only with a small group of audience, that have it more personalized and build relationships? Or have you faced challenges when you try to scale to bigger audiences?
No, you don't. I mean, I think you need to ask that question in the context of something. I mean, there are so many ways you could scale your go-to-market these days, right? Like by partnering with someone who's got a bigger audience than you, that's going after the same audience. By partnering with a brand who's not a competitor but a complementary solution that's also trying to acquire that same audience. That goes to the partnership, right? By hiring people that have that experience, that have those relationships within the network of people that you're trying to reach. By you becoming really educated about it and immersing yourself into that space, over time, you will become one of them, one of those people. There's 4 or 5 very obvious ways you can jumpstart this and scale this out. You could scale out through content, interview, like what you're doing right now, right? Every video podcast has the opportunity to be a great mechanism for people first go to market if it's done in a very deliberate, focused way. And it has a point of view. It has a story. It's tied to your brand story and point of view. It has substance that brings on people that are in the ICP that you're trying to go after. And that's a very more common play now, where you're asking people questions through a podcast, right? It's a conversation, it's content, it's relationship building. You can use that as part of your community-led growth strategy, and share out the things that I'm saying right now to a broader audience. You can repackage it. There are tons of ways you can scale this now. But the most direct are find the relationships with those people internally, externally, and use those as kind of like the key points of leverage.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. And for the metrics, in terms of the success of these programs, do you have any metrics that you want people to be focused on? What kind of metrics would you want people to measure, or you want to take any KPIs or where?
It's all your common business metrics. It's all the things you need. You need a top funnel, you need pipeline, you need revenue, you need retention, you need advocacy. Like that's what people first go to market is about. If you want to boil it down to 3 things: engagement, revenue, product adoption. Or you could say, and then customer advocacy is in the middle, like of that Venn diagram. Or you could say engagement, revenue, customer advocacy. I think if you have engagement, revenue, product adoption, and in the center of that Venn diagram, I should say, excuse me, is advocacy, word of mouth. You're doing it right. But it's just all the normal business metrics that you would consider to measure as part of your marketing, sales, customer team funnel, that are all driving at the end of the day the same thing that we all want, which is revenue generated in a way that's sustainable for the business to keep growing or become profitable or sustain profitability.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of use of technology, right? Do you what is your dependency on technology? Do you normally depend too much on technology, or you would want to start without much technology, and you want to scale up? You want to bring in the technology as we scale up? Is there any recommendations you would want to give? If the people invest a lot on technologies these days, they want to invest in without having an insight or a foresight. People would spend tens of thousands of dollars in technology. So, is there something that you would want to mention in terms of starting the people first go to market? Does it involve? Is it too much reliant on technology, or you want to space it even?
I think I understand the question. For me, what problem is this going to help you solve, or problems, and how close is it directly going to help you increase engagement, increase revenue, increase product adoption, or word of mouth? Put all of your technology investments through that lens, right?
Okay.
And then like how important, how urgent is this thing? You could build a simple 2x2 for this stuff. You could build, a more graph-based XY axis thing that plots these different questions I just kind of raised on it. But at the end of the day, like, I do think we jump into buying too much technology, and you can buy technology very quickly, very fast. Even my small business with TAC, Nick and I, no exaggeration, we probably have, I'm just thinking about our P&L, we've purchased 12 software tools in the last 6 or 7 months. 12. And we're 2 people full time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I believe, it happens. The small SaaS products, you keep on purchasing. You think it's like $10, $20, $50, $100, but eventually, when you work it on throughout the year, it runs thousands of dollars, but there's no way you have to purchase the tools.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So now, coming towards the end of the podcast, I would like to ask you if can you give us some actionable things, 3 actionable things which our listeners would want to do right away to start with the people first go-to-market, or as a go-to-market, what do you think they should start prioritizing first? Any 3 things that listeners would want to prioritize?
The story, like your story, your point of view. We talked about that. 2, how are you different in solving these problems? Focus on why you're different. What makes you unique? And it could be product related. It could be people related. It could be brand related. It could be something else. But like, what makes, your service and support team, just more people, but like, what makes you different? Maybe it's distribution leverage. Lean into that stuff. And then 3, like, if you're not talking to at least 1 or 2 customers a day, and you're an executive, or you're creating a company, or you're a small business, anyone that's really outside of like, a job who, it's a big company, hundreds, if not thousands or tens of thousands of people. And then at those companies, depending on what you do, you should be talking to sometimes customers every single day. But like, if you're in a position of leadership, small business, entrepreneur, CEO, you need to be talking to customers. At the very least, if you're not talking to customers, you're listening to conversations with customers, or at the very, very least, understanding what's going on in a more macro way from listening through online conversations that do take place, all the time. I have an example through one of our customers at TAC. We're helping a company understand their audience better, doing research, and it's cabinet makers is their audience. People that make cabinets for kitchens and other things in your house. We have found that they are super active online. Not surprising. They are super active online though in Reddit. Reddit is where this company should be engaging. Who would have thought, right? So there is just do some research, do some listening, and you'll find the audience. It's almost guaranteed that they're online. I'm not going to say 100% guaranteed, but it's pretty well guaranteed that they're online, and you can use that as a way to help your business become more people first and grow in a different way. Grow in a way that's less about chasing ad dollars and chasing attention, but like gathering and accruing attention through the act of building relationships and adding value to these conversations, adding value to people that bring them back to your business.
It's a valid point. I had a similar case study too. One of my clients, we tried to reach their customers, their shop floor. They were a manufacturing client, and they had shop floor users. They were supposed to use a particular software. And after some research, we understood that a lot of people haven't even heard of LinkedIn, or they're not even active on LinkedIn. Right? They were not used to it. All they were used to is a phone call and email. That's all. So after some research, we understood that. So these people were trying to reach them on LinkedIn ads, LinkedIn. They were not even active. They hardly log into LinkedIn. That's what they do.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So lastly, with this, you're seeing this AI, this technology evolving, all of this right now, we have been changing and evolving every 2 years. What do you think is the future going to be? So, something you want to mention? Just your prediction. Last question.
Prediction of AI?
No, with the advancements in AI and other technology, where are we heading in terms of GTM and marketing? Do you think?
Oh, like how is that going to affect go-to-market? How is AI going to affect go-to-market?
Exactly.
It's going to affect every piece of it, every single piece in profound ways. I can't predict the future. No one really can. So my guess is as best as anyone's. I feel that we will become more and more efficient, and you need to take control of your destiny as a person. I'm a big believer in the idea of people needing to have multiple income streams, people not being beholden to one company anymore. AI really making it easier yet harder in some ways to do business because of, again, unintended consequences that we can't really think of or predict. Yeah, it's gonna be a wild time. My gut tells me though, the thing that's gonna be the biggest blocker to a lot of this is gonna be hardware. Yeah, we're almost at that point. AI takes a ton of computing power. Think about how long it took people to get mobile phones. Decade.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna take a long time. Decade. I mean, it's not as long, but it's expensive. I mean, to actually use AI locally, I don't know. I mean, and then to do it over the internet. I mean, I don't know. I think we'll also see the classic. It's probably already starting, but like the classic thing where it's like our expectations are so high. I feel like we're like kind of have been there. It's just gonna plummet, and it's to be, oh man, this stinks, and then it slowly builds itself back up, right? Gartner's classic chart, but it definitely is an exciting time, right? You can say one thing that's for certain: everything always is changing.
Yes, absolutely. And I also believe strongly we are up for a huge change, with the AI, because nobody knows, and everybody's going to start using AI, and it's going to be competing among themselves, and we never know.
But
How
this is
much
why you should
time
focus on people. Focus on people, and you'll
you
be
got
much
it.
better.
Yes. Yes,
That's
yes.
the
Maybe you can leverage AI to start with, but I believe you can take some key points and start doing, our experience, start writing from our experience. Anyway,
Yep.
wonderful having you, Mark. It was a wonderful section. Thank you so much for being. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Thanks for the questions. And yeah, if anyone wants to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn. You can go to TACKGTM.com or check out ClubPF. I know you're a member of ClubPF, and it's clubpf.co.co. And we'd love to have you join us. It's all about people first go to market.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely vouch for Mark and the ClubPF listeners, because it's a very energetic club I have seen from recently. It's really energetic people, and they're very active. So I would ask you to consider joining the club. Thank you, Mark. Thanks.
Take care.